Hey folks, here I am on Tuesday, the 11th of March. Back in the swing for the time being. Cheers. Hope everyone is doing well. It's going to be a sunny day today. Yesterday it got up to like 79 degrees, and I did spend some time out in the sun. Felt wonderful. Took a look at the yard. I'll get to it later. So, to start things off, I have some personal news to share, to document. As I've talked about in the past, I've been in a bunch of bands in Nebraska. One of them being this band, get that dust off, Scutter. This is a box set about the band Scutter. Jeff Morris with Daryl Moreland. Now, I want to be very, very frank in discussing this, and some people might not like what I have to say, but I'm speaking my personal truth, okay? Scutter is a bar band from Nebraska that started, there I am. I was in the last version of the band Scutter, okay? And Daryl Moreland, this guy here, was in the last version of the band. Okay, sir, here it says it on the front. Finally crafted garage rock since 1973. Okay, so I was with the band the last 5 years of its existence. I finally quit because of politics, because of they're all Trumpers, okay? All along, I have gotten along with these guys and have been friends with virtually everyone in the band. But from the beginning, I thought the name of the band was typical. I don't care if you don't like the term, typical redneck Nebraska sounding, not very inviting to black people. Scudder! Supposedly the term comes from something Festus said on a Gunsmoke show. I don't remember, it doesn't matter. The band has always had a hard drinking white audience. Based in a lot of Rolling Stones and stuff like that. But the deal is, my history with the band goes back further than just 5 years. It goes back actually almost 40 years, because Jeff, somebody try to tell the story here. Jeff, the leader of the band, for a time started a side project. I don't know if Scudder was on hiatus or they were having super drug problems with some of the original band members, but for a time in the early 80s, here's the book. Roar from the Garage. Jeff Morris with Daryl Moreland wrote the book. Once again, there I am, documented in the back. But they had this, he started this side project called Brian Jones, named after the Rolling Stones member. But what it was basically the original Scudder and me on bass. And we went for a time. I'm looking to see if there's a picture of that project in the book. I wouldn't be surprised if it got overlooked, but here are some more pictures of me while in the band Scudder. So my history, what I'm trying to say is my history with this band goes back quite a ways, and I've always liked Jeff, but he is a fairly typical Nebraskan who has racism that he doesn't recognize. He was in the service, and so he thinks because he had black friends in the service that gives him a pass. But as I've gotten to know him, and we're still lovely friends, he said things that are just, um, uneducated regarding history and black and brown people. Anyway, I'm getting to the point of bringing this up, but I'm still going to show you this box set because it's got, here's the last CD that the band made, their best record, which I take credit for, along with Tom Ware on drums, the long hair next to me. And then these are the rest of the CDs. And it's like, I gave Daryl a hard time. It's like, you're going to go through all the trouble of making a box set, and then you're going to do it with these. To me, this is cheapo, these thin cases. But, it's like, that's just me. I would have done it differently. Okay, so here's that picture I'm talking about. He did include, and I don't know why they did the picture like this, Brian Jones, buried and alive. You can barely see me back there. See, that's another thing that I gave Daryl a hard time about, who produced this. It's like, man, you should have talked to me about the graphics on this. This looks cheap. And it does to me, okay? So here's why I'm sharing this, is because Jeff gave me a call yesterday. And we're still friends. I still get in his ass about being a blind Republican. That's what it is. It's blind Republicanism. And we talked about that a little bit. And we always end on a high note because I love the guy. And I know that he actually loves me. But he's not as intelligent as I would like for him to be regarding many things. Anyway, he calls. The last time he called, some of y'all caught this. He called earlier in the year to let me know that the band Scutter is being inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which means, as a member of the band and a member of the most recent incarnation of the band, I am being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'll get an individual plaque that happens in August. He called yesterday to say that finally his band is being inducted into the Nebraska Music Hall of Fame, which is our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which means I'm already in it as an individual act. Now I'm going to be in the Nebraska Hall of Fame twice. Also as a member of the band Scudder. They've asked us to play, and he wanted to know, would I play with those guys? Because I told him to take a hike because of Trump. And I told him, if they supply the back line, and you have the understanding that I will not mute anything I have to say because I'm around you guys. If I feel like bringing up politics, I fucking will. And he said, I know that about you, Dereck, and I accept I accept you. And I wouldn't want you any other way. And so I said, yeah, I'll play. So I'm being inducted into the Nebraska Music Hall of Fame for the second time through being a member of Scudder, which for me is an honor. Cheers. I would have to go online and look it up, but some names in the Nebraska Hall of Fame that you may know besides me are Buddy Miles, who was with Jimi Hendrix, Randy Meisner, who was in the Eagles. I'm pretty sure Doug Engel of Iron Butterfly is in there. The jazz great Preston Love is in there. I'd have to look further for other well-known names because there are more. But it's been an honor. I was inducted into the Nebraska Hall of Fame, Oh, I'd have to look at my plaque. It's been maybe 10 years ago now, something like that. But, interestingly enough, it's pure petty Nebraska that Jim Casey, who was in the Smoke Ring and had a hit in the 60s, actually were on American Bandstand. He is the one who started the Hall of Fame. And when he died, there was some kind of petty bullshit, and I think it's the Simrad people started their own version, which is just ridiculous. So I have to actually ask, which one am I in? As far as I'm in the legitimate one. So that's my news of the morning. We had a good conversation, a loving conversation. But I don't hold my tongue for people. And I've said it before. I've played in situations live with the band where it's like, I'm behind enemy lines. I could get lynched if things go wrong. I am the only black person anywhere in sight. I always make the best of it. And that's part of my legacy, which is I love people and I love music and I love life. And I'm not stupid and ignorant. So I rise above that racist crap. Okay? Probably last day I'll wear this for the week. Which means, yeah, I got laundry. Cheers again. This is back. Not tasting as good as it did before. But we're on hit. So to continue what I do, which is to share music that I'm interested in. I'm not a request line. You folks who don't know me, haven't been watching me very long, I guess you didn't know that. I'm not into requests, and people will say, I'd love to hear you talk about. Yeah, you would, because I'm excited about what I'm talking about. But it's because I'm excited, okay? If you bring up something that triggers that, I may do something, but don't do requests, okay? I don't. And I still appreciate your support. So, at the same time, it's like I gotta be real and honest about how I do things, okay? Not a request line. Early in the days of this channel, I tried to accommodate that, and it did exactly what I knew it would, which would be well, here comes another one. It's like, no, that ain't what I want to do. I'll stop making videos. So yesterday, besides doing chores around the house and a couple of errands, like I said, getting out and actually spending time in the front lawn, in the front yard, because I don't have a porch, I have a stoop. I did play a few records. I didn't do any prog pulls. See, I just do things come and go. But this was wonderful to listen to yesterday, because it's been a while. And I always think of it as, when I think of the album, Asmus, Tietchens, and Terry Burrows watching The Burning Bride, I'll be thinking, that's kind of an experimental album. This is way better than that. It's got the mix of electronics, soundcraft, and actual music that is kind of undefinable. And I've had this for a long time. This is really good. It's on a no label, and I went ahead and wrote what was on it, but it's a no label out of England. Yeah, it's an English pressing. What does it say? Hamster Records, but there's no label. But that's what it says. It's Hamster Records. This is intriguing and very, very good. It was like, ended up playing the whole album. Didn't know that would happen, because it goes from idea to idea without repeating anything, using some interesting, unique timbres set up through the use of electronics. those are the titles of the tracks. I only have one other Asmus Tietchens record and some CDs. Very interesting artist. This was a wonderful excursion yesterday. I played a couple other things. Yeah, I played the Lagonia, the band from Peru. That's a good album. And I showed this the other day, Partable. This is actually quite good with a rough. It's a classical. The keyboardist can definitely has his classical chops, but then the rock side is kind of rough and tough mixed with it, which is kind of cool. I enjoyed this actually quite a bit. But some of the vocals sound like teenagers hyped on adrenaline. Now this next one, I want to look up right quick where this band is from. It's a progressive sounding band, and this is something did I take a chance on this? I bought this. Phlox, Phlox. Are they Estonian? 1 second, people. I'm almost there. Come on, and work with me, baby. Computer. Yep. Phlox is a fusion prog rock band from Tallinn, Estonia, formed in 1999. And I have their most recent album here, Carry. I think I read about this and then I bought it. I don't think someone sent this to me. I'm pretty sure I bought this. From Estonia. And they take tips from Henry Cow and bands like that. They use horns, have close ties. Okay, all right. Much more information there. I see they have 5 albums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 albums. Pardon me. It's the morning. I'm just getting going. This is very good. So here's one that kind of automatically slots in that prog. It's like, here's a kind of obscure prog band. You guys know about them? From Estonia, no less. Carry. Very good. Here's one where I forgot what this was about. And let's see again. Let me use this since it's up. Osunlade. Is this techno artist? Osunlade is his name. I'm going to show the record in a second. Real name is Christian Carlos Warren from St. Louis, Missouri. So how does he describe this record? I'm going to see here. He's got a bunch of records. This is one I took a chance on because of the cover. All right. Osunlade, Offering. I was intrigued by the image. Excuse me here, things are happening. Get my March calendar back up. I'm just gonna look it up again right quick. Because this was at first thinking, I don't know, I'm gonna keep this. It's a 3-record set vinyl 3-record set vinyl. I see now that it is not all Osunlade, and it's called Electronic Latin Downtempo. Huh? I don't get that. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4 other artists listed besides Osunlade. Okay, because of these reworkings and stuff. Okay. And I enjoyed Samba, the scat dub, and Chimes of Freedom. There's nothing about the music that references that image on the front. But I do remember getting this when I was picking up Antiquarium Records was going out of business. And so they had everything marked way down, and they had all this techno and electronic club music down in the $2 range. And I just, that's my call. Here's the label, there's the cat. And so after I listened to all 3 records, all 6 sides, 1 track per side basically, and it said, and it was like, okay, not something I'll be playing very often, but it's a keeper, and it's worth sharing with you folks. Maybe some of you folks have some Osunlade. I do like hearing from you folks when you share that you have similar tastes, and when you have stuff that I show that's enjoyable. And so, like I said, someone asked about Shadowfax, and Shadowfax to me, it's like when their first album, Watercourse Way, came out, and I loved the cover of it, so I got it right away. But I thought the band was kind of like second, third rate prog. They found their footing later in kind of a more smooth jazz / prog sound on Windham Hill. And I've gotten rid of their albums, and then because they're so common here in the Midwest, I ended up back with them in the collection. I actually recently was looking at pulling them to use for trade fodder again, and they said just keep them because they're worthless. I'd only get like $1 in trade, if even that. But I don't listen to them because there's so much more interesting and frankly better music like that. And everybody knows about Shadowfax, so I don't need to tell you about him. I don't. And that's what's fun, is I know I'm sharing a lot of music that is not common. So let's keep going. I did listen to the Locanda delle Fate on my CD. This is brilliant Italian proggers, and it starts off instrumental before we get into the vocals, which are good vocals. But this is top-notch, top-rate progressive rock. Keyboards, good writing and arrangements, fresh, not sounding like anyone. Supposed to be another nice day, not as warm as yesterday, but I just now had to turn the heat down because I had it up to get the house going. Okay. What else did I play yesterday? A tip to Discus Music, one of the labels that I review regularly. I put this on and listened to quite a bit of this yesterday during the day as I'm puttering around the house. Frostlake, Ice and Bone. I have a newer CD by, this is Jan Todd. She works at Discus. And she was helpful with me when Discus Music did a short special distribution deal with me on The Muse, and actually got copies of it for sale through them in England. And it sold out right away. There wasn't that many copies. But Jan was the person that I dealt with business-wise, besides Martin. Very nice lady. This is nice. Is Martin on here? It looks like it's Jan and her partner, Terry Todd, playing everything. Came out in 2019. There's a slightly folky underpinning on top of the music, which is, I dare say, progressive. I like those images. It's not jazz. It's not rock and roll. It's atmospheric, based around her lyrics and her voice, which is nice. But the music is varied. And it uses stuff like idiopans, found objects, field recordings are involved here, which I like. Melodica, Celtic harp, zither, banjo, and they're electronic, so that kind of lets you know. I recommend this. Excuse me. This is a Discus favorite of mine. Ice and Bone by Frostlake. Now this, I had forgotten what it was like, but it's part of the Made to Measure series out of Belgium on the Crammed disc label. This one is Gabor G. Kristof, Le Cri du Lézard. And I couldn't remember what it sounded like. So when I put it on, it was like, oh, this is primarily this guy on acoustic guitar. Not classical. But then as it goes, then the introduction of other instruments came in. And it's again, hard to describe, which is kind of some of my favorite music. Is it just good? Imaginative? Yeah, this is good. This is one of the reasons why I liked Creation Records so much, because they would come out of left field with stuff like this. Pie Finger. A Dolly Surprise. And it turns out that these guys were in another, Fire Engines was the name of the better known band that two of these guys were from. And this was a side project of theirs that I really like to listen to this all the way through. This is kind of wild. Hard to no, I keep saying that. This is really cool. 1992. Look it up. Pie Finger. I mean, at times it even calls to mind The Residents, but it's not that far out. But it's like it's in that territory. It's like, wow. And they're using mostly regular instruments, a lot of vocals, but I like the vocals, and I don't quite get what they're singing about, which is even, again, I like that. Impressionistic, slightly off-kilter, funky grooves, but they pull it off. But it's like they're not trying to be funky in a straight way. It's like this music is kind of warped. I love shit like this. Pie Finger. Once again, if some of you folks over in England watching this know about this, or are you in this? Did you play on this? Leave a comment. I'd love to hear. Really enjoyed that. As I was looking at the CDs over here, because like I say, the rediscovery of my collection is in full force. I have only been to the record store once or twice this year so far, only. I think at the most I've been to the record store twice. And I'm not tempted to go still. I'm really enjoying listening and rediscovering my own collection. Here's one. I think this goes back to the 90s. The Aloof. I want to look it up because I think this is a 1998. So there's a baggy Stone Roses element to the rhythms of this record. It's a CD single. What I Miss the Most by The Aloof. And like I say, when Homer's Records, the longest running record store in Omaha, especially back then, they would have these clearance sales in the summer, sidewalk sales, and they would just have boxes and boxes of dollar CDs and even albums, LPs, dollar up to $10. And I just went hog wild on the dollar CDs, buying stuff that looked interesting or had a label association that intrigued me. Let me see what label this is. This is East West, so this is a big label, East West. But I went ahead and grabbed this, and I like this. I like all three tracks on this. What I miss the most, Change, and then Face It. Face It, the third one, listen to my voice, excuse me. The third track is the one I like the most on there. Kind of, like I say, kind of a baggy thing. North Side, The Farm, those kind of bands. It's good. Enjoyed it. And then from night listening last night, I just decided to just go with my favorites. And here's one where it's so hard to find the CD. I have a lot of Haruomi Hosono on CD and vinyl, but I still have yet to find a copy of this, so I burned it. Naga, not Maga. Naga, Naga. This is a homemade disc. And this was back before I discovered that when you put labels on these CDs, it fucks them up and they don't play all the way through on most players. I actually need to make another disc for this and throw this one away because last night it started to get tripped up as it got towards the end of the tracks because of this paper. This is wonderful. And when I was in Japan for the summer, I just happened to catch it. It was like their like morning sunrise meditation sort of programming, but it was Naga with this beautiful nature scenery of mountains and stuff and a narration that's not on here, but I recognized the music because I already knew this. This is wonderful. Haruomi Hosono is a master musician and really one of my absolute favorites. So of this, what I could listen to, which was about half of it, fantastic. Some of the best ambient music. I mean, it's a cut above. If you don't know Hosono's music, it's time. So for the person who asked about Shadowfax, do you know Haruomi Hosono? Get on it, baby. This is the shit. So I played this. The best instrumental music of Haruomi Hosono, calm. Just what I needed for nighttime listening. And this is, oh, wow. He is just so, he's also a Cancer like me, which I like saying that. Japanese disc. Wow. I have several of these tracks on their original albums on vinyl. But this was perfect for bedtime listening. It just washed over me. Oh, man. So deep. So deep. This is the kind of stuff that goes over the heads of my dudes in Scutter. Even my buddy Tom Ware on drums, who I love Tom, and Tom is intelligent, and he ran a studio, but he got infected by foolishly listening to Rush Limbaugh during the daytime. I witnessed the changeover. Tom wasn't always so red, so anti-human. He's a good guy. I love him very much. Smartest one of the bunch. Jeff and Daryl, they disappoint me. If any of you guys are watching, or somebody that knows them, I have no shame in saying that those two people have disappointed me in their lack of understanding of their political stance, how it directly hurts me and people like me. I've said it before. I had a conversation in my house here where Jeff said something really stupid and didn't realize how insulting, truly insulting it was. I said, I can't believe you just said it in my house. Okay? That's why I say quite clearly, racism and white privilege is fucking stupid. And it won't go away. And it's also telling that when I talk about it, the stupid racist jackasses get their dander up and have to say something stupid as though that's the issue, to try to call names and put people down. That's not what I'm doing. I'm expressing justified outrage. Justified, okay? I know what I'm doing, and you folks that are educated, especially if you know anything about psychology and communication, and you know what I just said, justified anger. There's a difference. And it's like, okay, I'll stop, because I could do a course. I could teach college on this shit. Don't fuck with me. I'm glad to share this. I'm proud to now be coming up 3 times Hall of Famer, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. I can say that technically because I'm in 2 states, and it's part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I love it. Last thing I have to show, someone had mentioned it, and I love this artist a few videos back. Tetsu Inoue. Tetsu Inoue. And this is one I have. I have a couple other things on CD with Hosono and some other people. World Receiver. This is the dope shit. Remember when the Instinct label was happening? It was a rising label. And I tried to pick up on the label because mostly what I was hearing on it was good. And then I kind of just, I can't buy everything on one label. This is wonderful. A lot of field recordings. It sounds like we're starting off like maybe in an airport terminal, and you're listening to the voice on the PA, not quite making out what she's saying. And then it just gets into these, it's like that. It's like the music and the sounds, they open up. They don't close, they open up. And it's like, almost like having a drone with your ears, where first you're down here and the next thing you know you're up and you're ascending, and then you get this big overview. And that's what the music and the sound, and it's musical. It's quite a bit of sound work, but very musical. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. I love sharing this with you people. I do. Okay? I love hearing your thoughts. The ignorant taunts do not bother me. And some of you people happen to see them before they go. And these people are obsessed with me. Usually when they do something, they're among the first to leave a comment to try to make sure I see it. It doesn't bother me. That's how dumb these people are. It's like, well, I guess they're getting their jollies. I see what's going on with human behavior. I'm so glad that I learned, I don't take that stuff personally. I'm better. And I keep talking like this because I hope it helps some of you folks in your dealings with unpleasant, unnecessary, ignorant fools, because they're everywhere. Okay, Stephanie, because I know you watch me regularly. Hope things are good out in California. Hoping the best with Kareem and this new thing where he got some kind of certification to do something, a license. Make some money, brother. I hope he can get stable. And you, Stephanie, I missed you. Miss you so much. I miss all of y'all out there. But I'm not coming out there. Not at the time, not for the time being. Okay. Stay in touch, people. Love you all.